USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
And welcome back to the Boundary Corner Podcast. Along with my partners, Brian Siegler, Jonathan Talley, and Shelton Moss. I'm Curtis Wilson, and this episode is brought to you by Dr. Jeremy Counts at the Main Street Pharmacy in Blacksburg, your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, 301 South Main Street, Blacksburg. Welcome back, boys.
Back at it, fellas. Back at it.
We are back.
Wednesday night. You know, we switched it up. I got to tell myself a little bit for a second. I was like, we're going live tonight, right? We got to get all this stuff together. I'm sending links out. I'm like, shit, we said we're going live tomorrow.
And we were going live Wednesday because Shelton was on the road yesterday and couldn't go with us. And we had to wait that one extra day. But how's
habits, man. Habits are hard to break.
They are. Y'all all right, boys? Y'all quiet.
All good.
You quiet.
Shelton, long day, man. I'm tired.
Shelton, you tired. You deserve to be quiet. Shelton, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm working on this computer not kicking me off every time I say something. Acting crazy down here. Told y'all this internet be acting crazy down here. But yeah, man. Everything seems to be good. Got to give a shout out before we get to talking. My little cousin, Kurt Johnson, is a state championship coach of 4A Montgomery Catholic Knights.
Nice.
He has been the head coach of that school for 3 years. His record is 42-2, I think 43-2 now. So I'm very proud of this kid, man. He battled through a lot of stuff. Lost his mom last year during the playoffs. Kind of affected them going forward in that game. They lost in the semifinals, and this year he came back and he won it all, man. They won it down in Tuscaloosa on Alabama's field. I didn't get to go. I had some things to do, but I did go to the semifinal game and talk to the team. So, yep, it's all good, man. We feeling good. I'm repping for the Knights tonight.
Heck yeah! Congrats to your cousin there, man. And you were mentioning off air, you gonna get in there and get the line going, right? Because he's putting D1 talent out.
Yeah, man. If he can get me some linemen, I can't talk too much. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about it a little later on. But he's got a lot going on, man. If I can get him to get some D1 guys on that line, that would be great. He's actually got a tight end that's a junior that West Virginia is looking at right now.
Okay.
So he's got some good talent on that team.
Lots of congrats from the gallery here. Definitely congrats to your cousin there, man. That's a big thing, doing big thing. I know we talked. You were in the middle of watching that game when me and you chatted on Friday for a few minutes, and you said they show it, which is pretty cool. But we got a lot to unload tonight because we have not met. What's it been? 10 days, something like that.
Feels like it's been a while, man. I forgot what Shelton looked like.
It's been a bit, man. It's been a bit. We had to take a little hiatus, a little week off. Take a breath. Recollect our thoughts.
When you make a bowl game, you got time to relax and practice, and you get extra time to the next game.
And that's what we're doing here tonight as well. but a lot of stuff to unload. We are going to talk about the bowl on the back half of the episode. Take a look at what's left of Tulane. Make some predictions on some bowl games, have some fun. But let's actually start with the bowl games, and let's talk about the college football playoffs. Because even though this is now going, 10 days out since that happened? Yep, it's 10 days. Because
we can still rant about it.
We still rant. I was on my way back from my mom's when that happened. And lo and behold, they start doing their little thing, right? Number one, the Michigan Wolverines. We ain't shocked, are we?
No,
we ain't shocked. Number two, Washington Huskies.
Not shocked.
13-0, not shocked. And then they did the number 3, Texas. We weren't shocked.
I wasn't shocked they ran. I mean, you could argue Texas at 3 or 4, depending on who the other team was. But Curtis, go ahead.
Well, then number 4 pops up. Well, I don't know if I did not see this live because I was driving, but number 4 popped up or number 5 popped up, and then the next thing you know, Alabama's number 4. Which left out, obviously, everybody already knows Florida State, 13-0 ACC champions, 2-0 against the SEC. And you're sitting here, and people started posting stuff because a certain network had been laying this out for about a month, right? Prior to everything going down. And I want to go ahead and get some of y'all's reactions. And Tally, I'm going to let you start because you down there. So what was your reaction? You sitting there, whether you're on Twitter, watching it live, or somebody texting you, what was your first reaction?
I mean, I knew it, but I was looking at it from a debate standpoint, and I had been arguing on Facebook for like 2 days. You know, people wanted to tell me how great the SEC is and this and that. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of that, what y'all talking about. What I'm trying to say is there's never been a conference champion that's left out that's undefeated.
Ever.
Power 5, right?
10 years of it.
So
10 years.
If we're supposed to be doing it the same way, then, you know, that how you lead this team out. Then you got number 2, Alabama loses to Texas at home by 10. Like
worse than 10. It was worse than 10.
I think it was 24-14.
No, that was the final score, but that game.
Oh, yeah.
Texas dominated. No, it's 38-24 was the final, or 34-24 was the final. But Texas dominated that game.
But
it wasn't.
Either way, I understand, you know, you want to see the best teams in there and all that. I don't give a fuck about the best teams unless we talk about Virginia Tech. I just want y'all to stay to your word and do what you say you was going to do. You cheated them boys down there in Florida State out of their chance to go to the championship, and that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You put it on one player and say, oh, well, you know, he got hurt. They ain't the same team. Hell, they won their conference. They didn't lose a game. They beat the team in the championship by double digits. When Alabama used to beat LSU 6-3, everybody used to beat their meat to them kind of games. But Florida State goes out here and wins a defensive championship game. You know, y'all don't got nothing to say. Why ain't Jordan Travis in the Heisman race? Shit, you should have gave him the Heisman if he's that important.
He's that damn good. He's that important.
If he's that good that they can't win a game without him, why you didn't give him the fucking Heisman?
The more impressive.
Go ahead.
The more impressive thing, and I'm gonna let you keep your rant going. The more impressive thing is they won with a third string quarterback.
Yeah.
They won with a third string quarterback. Continue.
On top of all that, what gets swept under the rug, we're talking about, well, we want to see the best games, Bob. Michigan been fucking cheating. Is anyone going to talk about them cheating? They've been fucking cheating the whole year. They've been cheating. They've been going in people's houses, peeping through their windows. They fucking running I don't know what they doing up there, but I know they've been stealing signs and looking under people's dresses and all type of stuff. And y'all ain't do nothing about that. Like, we didn't keep them out of the playoffs, right? Hell, they had a game. When we talk about quarterbacks, right? Quarterback being most important.
Yep.
Michigan had a game where their quarterback, they didn't throw a pass in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't throw a pass in the second half. But that's great though. They got a great defense and they got a great running game. I'm just saying, man, it's kind of fucked up. And I hate Florida State. That's the thing. I fucking hate Florida State. But I don't think you should do them like that. I think that's kind of fucked up. So
all right, I'm gonna pivot here to Shelton. Before I go to Brian, because I know Brian's gonna go on a slight tirade too. So let's bring some. Sheldon did some data research for us. Sheldon, give me your personal feel towards this, and then or data, then your personal feel towards this. But what's some of the data points say about this?
Well, look, I think when you look at the metrics this year, Florida State and Alabama are pretty much dead even. I mean, SP Plus, it's pretty much a dead tie. FEI ratings, I think FSU is, let's see, what were they? They were 12th and Alabama was 11th. So it's pretty much dead even as far as, what the metrics say. And I mean, if the metrics, were to predict this game, if Florida State and Alabama played each other, it'd be a toss up. Now I know that Jordan Travis is out, so obviously that changes, of course, but I think the committee was overstating the level of separation between these two teams.
Love that.
And look, you mentioned, Tyler mentioned how you've got a system where there's 4 playoff teams for 5 major conferences. I would argue this was sort of an inevitability. This was going to happen. We got lucky the first 9 years, really. It took till year 10 for a brouhaha like this to kind of come up. So it's a flaw in the system, and I think I personally would prefer the more deserving team rather than the best team. And I say that as a big analytics guy. I just think the games have to matter. It's sort of like if you look at Washington, Oregon this year. Oregon had better metrics because they were more dominant against their schedule, but Washington beat them twice in a couple close games that could have gone either way. But nobody with their right mind would say that we should just give the Pac-12 title to Oregon because they had better metrics. You give it to Washington because they won the games, even though they were 9.5 point underdogs. So again, just a bad system, and unfortunately, just an inevitable result of kind of what happens when you don't have any at-large bids and guaranteed spots. It's just a bad system. I'm so glad we're getting rid of it.
Me too. And I'm going to ask you a quick question. If there were 3 more years left, would they have made the same move? Because the committee knew they had to deal with blowback for 1 year. Because all they've got to say next year is we're going to 12. This is why we're going. That's why we're going to 12 right there. But if there was 3 more years left, would they have made the same move, or would they have put 13-0 in?
I think they would have made the same move because to be fair,
they would have said the same fucking move.
To be fair to the committee, they do state in their guidelines that they are allowed to factor in injuries to key players in their decision-making process. So that's why I try not to be super reactionary to this, because it is stated in the rules that they are allowed to do this. They're allowed to factor in injuries.
What they really wanted to say was, we're not having a playoff unless an SEC team is in there.
That's what they really wanted to say.
Which, me being in Alabama, I'm kind of glad, because I like living. I didn't want them to come blow my house up, because because listen to me, the SEC, for me, when Clemson was winning championships, I didn't give a fuck. I'm not a Clemson fan.
Nope.
SEC fans, if Alabama don't make it and Georgia make it, them motherfuckers be. I told you the SEC's goddamn where it's at, Bubba. I'm like, you ain't no fucking Georgia fan. So it didn't matter who got in.
Auburn fan, shut the fuck up.
They were they already claiming Texas. Texas ain't even in the SEC yet. See, that's why Texas coming to the SEC. I said, oh my God. Y'all got to get me out of here, man. Somebody come rescue me. That's what I need.
We'll find you a job.
It just means more, man.
Yeah.
What's your take?
And by the way, the ACC beat the SEC head-to-head this year.
6-4.
Just to let everybody know that.
6-4. Actually, the SEC didn't have a winning record against any Power 5.
Any Power 5.
Go ahead, man.
And they were tied for the last in terms of number of bowl teams in the Power 5. So here's how I would look at it from my perspective. If I was on the committee, if you're a Power 5 team and you're undefeated and we got spots left, you're in. After that, we can get academic and look at strength of schedule. We can look at who you still got playing. You can look at all those other factors. If you are an undefeated Power 5 team and you won your conference title and you're unblemished, you need to be in if there's spots there. So essentially, unless there's an undefeated team in every Power 5 conference, you should make the playoff. That's me. if I was a voting member on this panel. And I mean, I don't think you should have to get academic in the selection process until you have satisfied that goal there. I don't like the fact that this feels like we're getting very subjective in the process when there are objective ways of comparing these teams.
And you want to know what else, Brian?
You're leaning on the subjective elements of the rules and not any of the objective elements of the rules. Mm-hmm. So,
and you want to know what else, Brian?
What's that?
Alabama's gonna fucking win it. The fucking bastards are gonna win the whole thing. And people are gonna talk about, see, told you they were supposed to be in there. Fuck. Oh, the fuck.
Well, I'm gonna kind of cap it off with this, and I'm gonna go something Sheldon said a few minutes ago. Yeah, Pete's still claiming that title. What you had this year is the committee saying on the field doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. On the field doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do on the field. Well, your players hurt. Well, you can't. You're not gonna be able to win without them. Why not? We won twice without them. We went to the swamp and beat Florida. Well, that's an average Florida team. Still beat them. Still beat them, right? Oh, then you struggled with Louisville with a third string true freshman quarterback playing his first snaps under center. Still beat them. Still beat them by double digits. Defense dominated Louisville. Louisville had not been that dominated all year. We saw that firsthand. Jeff Brom knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And so, and this is where I keep, and there's people out there that's saying, I don't care, it's FSU, FSFU. Yeah, I don't like FSU either. I don't like any other team in the ACC. I don't. That's one thing I hate about SEC fans. It's like, our conference is good. No, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU have been good the last 5 years. The rest of y'all haven't done shit. National titles don't go on the sides of the stadiums of yours when Georgia wins or when Alabama wins. It goes on theirs. They get to put it in the trophy case. You don't. So,
and I will reiterate before we go any further that a lot of this whole strength of schedule discussion, a lot of that hinges on the preseason rankings.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
You're going to have more SEC teams historically ranked in the top 25 to start the season. And until you start stacking up some losses, that doesn't really drop a whole ton. So to me, that really kind of throws off the overall
it always
strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm. This is my fear. This is my fear about what the precedent that was set in. And I've had some conversations with Tech fans, thinks I'm stupid, but y'all can say what you want to say. The precedent is now set. An 11-1 Virginia Tech team who did not make the ACC title game, 11-1, is ranked number 7. And let's say the running back gets hurt in the last game against UVA. Hurts his ankle. Going to be out a month. He's going to be able to play the game, but no. By the way, I'm going to stop something right here. Good point, right? Good point. In the Ohio State game. And then they couldn't move the ball against Iowa. But the point is, in a few years, it's a precedent that's now been set that on the field doesn't matter. Because in a few years, Tally going to go AWOL on someone when Tech's 11-1, sitting at number 7. Running back gets hurt late in the season. Guys got 1,400 yards, tearing it up. Oh, y'all lost your running back. We're going to have to put 9-3 Alabama in over you. They're a better team than y'all. They play in a tougher conference. That's the precedent that's set. And people aren't seeing it right now because everybody drives like this. They drive right in front of them versus looking down the road where you're going to see, we're a good team. We can hang with anybody in the country. But because of this, they can now pull you out and say, no, they're better. Brian, what'd you say? They're better subjectively, not objectively on the field. That's what's going to happen. And if it happens to us, we're going to be pissed. And everybody's going to be like, well, let that happen. Then I'll be pissed. Look what's happening in front of you right now. The only way you can do it is give the blowback. Don't watch the games. That's the only way you're ever going to do it. Don't watch the games. And for most fans, we can't because we love it. We love the sport.
I have seen where we're talking about if Florida State goes out there and beats Georgia, there's going to be some AP voters that are putting Florida State number 1, regardless of how the college football playoff shakes out. So
wouldn't that be great?
It'll be interesting to see if we have any sort of revolt on that front in any sort of significant way. I don't think we'll see anything that will super impact the polls, but I would love to see something like that happen.
I'd love to see that. I'd just love to see it. takes me back to the youth. Sheldon, Tally, anything else additionally y'all want to add on this? Because we went a good 15 minutes on this.
No, I think I'm good. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Florida State, fuck you for talking about it at the beginning of the season, how you want to leave, and the ACC wasn't shit. Then at the end of the season, we all cheering for you because we want you to get in because you deserve to be in. But you said, fuck us at the beginning of the season. So guess what? You joined the Bukkake line with the rest of us. That's where you ended up. All right? Fuck. All right, let's go.
And that is 20 minutes and 45 seconds. So
perfect. Remember that. All right, let's go to the next thing that came up. And I don't know. I know I sent y'all the articles. I don't know how much you read on. I know Brian read a bunch on it. But back on, let me get the date here. December 5th. So just a few days after CFP was released, the NCAA proposed a new college athletic subdivision of athletics. Basically, the way it seems is if you want to give your players money, and I don't know all the ins and outs of it, $30,000 a year for 4 years to everybody if you play a sport. Brian, I'm going to let you get deeper into this. Really good work by Ross Dellinger. 2 articles. Go read them. But Brian dug into this. And, Brian, this has been a passion of yours for a long time. But what is your take on this?
So I think we know that sometime in the near future, there's going to be this Power 5 schism or this high end of college football schism in the sport. I think it's coming. I think that's going to be a bigger discussion than this whole Big 2, Big 3 thing that we kind of got going on, because eventually that's not going to matter because there's going to be basically a subdivision with these teams and then other teams that play in what is now the NCAA FBS. So when we look at that, this is kind of a NCAA life raft, half-ass proposal that I don't think really helps anybody and really is kind of weird because of the financials of it all. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But what they're essentially saying is bringing collectives and NIL in-house, paying the athletes $30,000 into a trust for their 4 years. And Title IX is in place, so this would apply across the board for the collegiate sports at that institution. This would really mean like 25 or 30 schools qualify, I think, from a financial standpoint. NIL added in there, you might add a few more in there, but this is not, this probably doesn't get us where we want to go. If the overall goal is to have the best 50 or so programs kind of split off from the NCAA, I don't think this gets us there. I think this is too much of a unfeasible and hand-holding proposal from the NCAA. And the NCAA is proving more and more with some of the results of the lawsuits that we've had over the last couple of days. They're losing their ability to have any sort of control over any aspect of the sport anymore. So I think we're going to see essentially the institutions doing this themselves and creating their own situation versus whatever is out there. But I think this is a life raft that's too late and feels desperate and is not really going to be feasible for a lot of schools.
True. Sheldon, Tally, anything on this y'all read or heard about? Or
that was a lot of smart talking that he just did, and I ain't that smart. That was a whole bunch of talking that he just did. And what it comes down to, let me break this down. It's the same as marijuana, all right? When marijuana's out on the streets and you got Shelton smoking it. This is just hypothetical. Hypothetical. He's going to get whatever he wants, and he's having a good time, and he can choose from his dealer what he wants. It's a problem for them because they can't put their hands in it. The NCAA, people been paying people for how long? Y'all been letting these schools rise to the top, paying people, paying off debts for people, moving people to houses, doing all of this stuff for years. Now you want to try to come in and say, oh, we're doing this to help everybody. No, you just want to do something so you can say you're regulating so you can get your fingers in there. That's all you're trying to do. I just think that's too much, man. Just let it be what it's going to be. It is what it is. If the quarterback is the best player and people want to pay him more, if he earns that for his name, image, and likeness, let him do it. The backup second baseman shouldn't get paid the same amount as the starting quarterback.
Nope.
I'm just saying. I mean, hell, you've been doing this for the longest. Why you want to try to act like you're doing something different now? That's just my take.
All right. Sheldon, you got anything on this? Anything you've read? And obviously, you're close to this stuff.
Yeah, well, as you guys know, I'm a big history guy, so I try to look at the history of college football and how it kind of, shapes the present. I think, there's been some precedent for stuff like this before. I mean, the NCAA split into divisions in 1973. They split into subdivisions in 1978. So, they've always been kind of further dividing. We saw, the Power Five versus Group of Five divide in 2014. It just, it kind of changes as time goes along. I think the main problem for the NCAA is that there's no one in charge trying to sort of lead the way and do things that are in the best interest of the entire NCAA. Whereas in the NFL, all the NFL owners, yes, they want money and they're motivated by greed and self-interest, but they're all doing it for the benefit of the NFL. That's not the case in college because the Power Five conferences are working essentially against each other. So therefore, the TV networks have all the leverage because they can negotiate with individual conferences rather than the NCAA as a singular entity. So I guess all that's a long-winded way of saying the cat's gotten too far out of the bag, and I think this is a problem that college football has just never dealt with because they've pushed along, they've sort of kicked the can down the road with the whole amateurism thing. And I could go into a long-winded spiel about this for 30 minutes, but it's just it's just I think it's the result of the NCAA leadership never really trying to resolve these problems other than just by kicking the can down the road.
This is something that if it was said 15 years ago, it would have been revolutionary. It would have changed how the sport was done 15 years ago. It's too late now. It's too late. Money was always in there. The NIL stuff, Brian said it numerous times, like they just sitting back. We don't want to touch any of this. And it was, and this is where it got.
They let it get to a point where the legal system was going to force their hand into a situation where they didn't want to do anything with. So they were like, well, here you go. With
100%.
Very little thought put behind it because they dragged their feet and they kicked the can down the road. And then they got to a point where, from a legal standpoint, they ran out of fucking road.
Yep, and that is why the NCAA keeps losing court cases because everybody knows their business model is BS. That's how it is.
Yep, that is what it is. So we'll see where it leads. If it leads to anything, I don't think it will lead to anything. The only thing it might lead to is when the break-off happens of your top 50, 60 schools, which probably is going to happen in the next decade. It'll probably be caps and stuff. That's the only thing they're throwing out there is, can you cap what you pay a player as they play for your team? That's the only thing it's doing. All righty, let's go talk about the portal because ever since we have been here, only one person had entered the portal. Since then, more people have entered the portal. Bryce Duke, Mike Hawkins, Dwayne Lofton, Derek Canteen, Johnny Dixon, Chance Black. Obviously, of those, with Daquan Wright, really biggest contributor was Canteen. But a lot of guys want to play in the bowl games. We have not had anybody commit to us yet, but just I know y'all are reading and following. By the way, shout out Colby Crawford at 247. That kid is doing a hell of a job keeping track of everything. I don't know if we're going to substitute him for Matei. Matei, get on your P's and Q's. Might ask Colby to come on next spring and next fall. No, just kidding. Matei, you're our guy. But just from what y'all are seeing of the guys going out, what's it tell you? Anybody want to throw it?
I'll lead out here. What it tells me, two things. Number one, a lot of these guys are folks that have had limited roles, especially in the last year, but also it tells me that they want to play in the bowl. There's twofold here. Number one, this is a big culture move because if you've got guys that still want to be a part of your program as they're looking for their next home. That's huge. I think some of these guys do need tape, so that's going to help too. You get your practices the next 2 weeks. You get the bowl game if you get some run in the game. Some of these guys might get more run, and we'll talk about why that might be as we kind of move through this episode. But yeah, I think it speaks to the culture that Coach Pry is building at Virginia Tech, that they still want to be a part of this process. So that's my big takeaway.
Tally?
Yeah, I kind of, go along with what Brian said there. Don't like to talk about the old staff, a whole bunch, but anytime we had somebody transfer out, it was always doom and gloom. Oh, I'm leaving because they shot my dog in the foot. Oh, I'm leaving because it was just always a soap opera when somebody was making a move for themselves. Then you'd have players fighting with fans fighting with players. I hate to see some of these kids go because, you watch them, they come in, they contribute. And it's like you see them grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when Dwayne Lofton was a freshman and he comes in, and we're excited to see him get on the field. Now he's moving on. He's trying to make a move for himself because we're talking about it. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more. I mean, you got 4 starting wide receivers coming back that's going to get a lot of burn, So he deserves to go somewhere and get some playing time, He deserves to get in there and try to make his dream come true, whether he wants to be an all-conference player or all-American or an NFL player. So I'm just using him for example. So it's good as far as what Brian said, as far as culture goes, that you have these people that are leaving, and it's like it's cordial. Thank you, coaches. I still want to go out here and fight with my brothers one last time. And then I'm gonna be making a move. That's something good, and it's crazy because it feels like it was 10 years ago when we had all this turmoil. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, a year and a half ago, when we were sitting around wondering what. I remember people was telling us the program's dead. It ain't nothing to talk about. We never gonna win again. It's just a much different feeling around the program now. Even though we won 6 games this year, and I almost said only 6 games because I feel like we could have won more. But anyway, it's just a different feel around the program, and it's something positive. It makes you feel good being a fan to see how the coaches are building that program.
Anything, Shelton, on this? Anybody you're sad to see leave or?
No, I mean, I think the coach has done a great job. I think, the term culture gets thrown out a lot in sports, and you hear coaches talk about it all the time. I think one of the reasons that I was a little bit more optimistic than most fans, even when Tech was 1-3, is that I felt like the staff was really good at culture management and creating a culture where guys wanted to stay. I mean, you talk about the last staff, we had almost the entire team opt out after that 2021 bowl game against Maryland. And I remember tweeting after that game, I was like, Pry needs to come in and create a culture where guys want to stay and be a part of this team and not just, quit when things get tough. And I think that this staff has really done a great job with that. And it's just, so much of it, I think we get caught up in like the X's and O's and scheme and everything, but so much of being a leader and being a head coach is just, managing people. And the staff has done a really good job of that. And you can kind of see with the results, it's just, all these guys want to stay because they want to be a part of this program. So I think it's a really good thing, and it's a testament to the culture that Coach Pry's created.
Yep, and that's the big piece when you see guys want to stay. It is the culture, and that's also a selling point as you turn into guys coming in from the portal, because that type of culture is something you want to sell. And I know as of right now, make sure no one's committed while I'm sitting here talking. That's what you want because it's an easy sell. Like, why? The first question you would tell somebody is, why do those guys want to stay? Why are those guys willing to put their bodies on the lines one more time for this team? That says something. And, again, right now I look at it, it does hurt to see Derek Canteen go, but it's one of those things I get that there's some younger guys than him that potentially could be playing those spots where he needs it. And I was mentioning it, I think it's Tally, I was mentioning it to you. Derek Canteen, hell of a nickelback, can play safety in a pinch. But if he wants to get the most out of his potential future contracts, he's got to show he can play on the outside. And if things happen here, that may happen over the next few weeks, he's not going to be able to play on the outside. Thus, his limits capped here. He can't do any more. So we'll see. But Tally, you already mentioned it, so let's start with that. We had the announcement yesterday, y'all. What about next year? Man? We know drones is coming back.
Well, yeah, let's start right there, Curtis. When you talk about drones coming back, I mean, he was no nonsense with it. I think they said he was on like a radio show or something.
On Blacksburg radio.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm next year's gonna be fun." It wasn't he didn't have to. He just does what he does on the field. Like that's, I just feel like that's what he is. He doesn't. He even said like he's not a huge talker. He just lets his game talk for him. Yeah. And I feel like that he started the team again. We talk about all season. He started the team in the portal again and said, "All right, y'all, we need to start getting this," because it's hard to pick up portal players when you don't know what pieces you have. Yep. There's a lot of P's right there. Portal players, pieces.
Alliteration is
Good Lord.
So when it's hard to do that, but when you have a dynamic quarterback that's coming back, and then you got a couple of D linemen to come back, one great defensive end that's coming back. No disrespect to anybody else coming, but then you get the big drop yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Yesterday.
Four of your top wide receivers, your whole wide receivers core. Yeah, your whole wide receivers core is coming back because they practiced and they fought all year to show us what they can do on the field, and they feel like they didn't get to do that. They got unfinished business because we know Jennings went down in that second game. Get rolled up on and breaks his ankle. We was there. Sucked to see him riding on that cart. Yes, with his parents. That we knew he wasn't. He's not playing anymore this year. We may never see him in a Virginia Tech jersey again. Is what we're thinking at that time. Yes, we're talking to each other. Well, guess what? They're back. They all coming back, man. Yeah. They and for some of those guys that maybe could move to a bigger program to get some more team accolades or maybe some personal accolades or even try to hand at the NFL to come back to a 6-6 program that has been struggling over the last 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. And that says a lot, man. That says a lot that those kids are willing to put that on the line to say, okay, we can be legends at Virginia Tech because we're the foundation that's going to build what this can be. And that's special to watch, man. Shout out to Quest too, man. I see you in the chat, Quest. I talk to Quest just about every day, man. He's told me a lot of stuff when we're talking about culture, the Virginia culture as well, that the coaches have built. I seen Quest went to Norcross High School. I see Norcross, and he talks to me a lot about their coaching staff.
You might have got him.
Field now.
He gone.
Slow down, Valley.
Okay, I'm good now.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was just saying, Quest was talking to me about how Norcross kind of felt about Virginia Tech during the dark days and how they feel now. And then I see a tweet from their head coach where he says, "Hey, we got to put Virginia Tech a parking spot out here. They're here all the time. It's not just the team. It's going from the culture being built in the team to the fan base to the surrounding areas, the Virginia, the high schools, and that's cool to watch." No, I got off a little bit about the portal.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about doing it. It's another thing to put in the legwork. And we're seeing the legwork happen. We're seeing the tweets. Yep. We're seeing the coaches put out information about it. We're seeing taking the chopper to the high school games. We're seeing banners flying over Charlottesville on the state championship game. And I don't know who did that, but
I don't either.
Good fucking job.
Great job. Genius job. And and you talk about those four guys coming back, and I mean, you look at the stats. Obviously, Ali didn't get to play this year with 2 games, but the way he tore up ODU, you knew he was going to do big things. And them all wanting to come back, and then the APR announcement, and then Fuga. So right there is, you talked about, that is your best defensive lineman. Could argue you might have been the best defensive player this year. Mm-hmm. That's an episode for February though. But then you got a guy like Fuga who was so emotional and so loves this place and is a culture driver in that room. So you've got the best player and you got the culture driver. So as they bring in additional players, you're a defensive tackle or you're an opposite defensive end. That guy's good. That guy's going to give me chances to shine. And the same goes like wide drones. If he knew they were coming back, I would have felt good about coming back too. Especially the way he made the connection this year. And then we go into an off season, and he is the clear-cut number one. He's going to get all the reps.
Mm-hmm.
Those connections he's already got with Felton, Gosnell, and Lane, and hopefully he can develop that with Jennings. That's big. That's big. By the way, hold on. We got to do something real quick. Robbie was up in Stanton. And he saw it. He saw the plane. That was great. All right. Sheldon, you got anything on any of these guys? I know data points to a few of these guys being elite metrically, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up for a sec, but
all right. Well, let's go to this. I'll let you flip on. You look up that, just talk about the guys returning our elite ones. But did everybody see the Tulane tweet today?
Oh yeah.
Shoot, Brian.
I don't have it, but I can find it. Hang on.
Find it and read it. I had it up earlier, and then I freaking took it down like a dumbass.
I mean, I can paraphrase it. The grass ain't always greener, and not everything that glitters is gold.
That's it. I don't know what that means. But we just said a few minutes ago about Derek Canteen leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if him and Dorian Strong come back, and with how Dante Lovett looked this year, and how Braylon looked, and those guys were raw freshmen, and to pair with APR, and to pair, we're going after things in the portal. The defense was in the top 25 total defense this year. And they had, and the whole thing is, we can all say it. Brian, you can definitely say it. And Charlie, you can say it. We weren't the best at times on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But we still ranked in the top 25. So when we see all this about all these guys returning and the offense, which went from a dumpster fire last year in like 110, and now I think it's in the 70s. And that's, Brian, didn't we say that?
Yeah.
We said just get it to the 80s, you'll be okay. We went up to the 70s. So, Sean, you've been able to find it of who are some of these guys returning, who are our best metric guys?
Yeah, I know Jay Lane was one of the top guys in the ACC grades wise for receivers. Big yak monster too. He didn't lead the conference in yak yards after catch, but he did lead it in yak per reception. So he's extremely efficient when he's catching the ball. And
that's with that bullshit touchdown that was called back too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I think we scored a touchdown. We ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. Which I think was Gosnell. So
yeah, it was.
I guess you spread the love around a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, and then I know Gosnell. Let's see, where's Gosnell? Yeah, he was really good in blocking. Not quite as much in other phases, but he also led our team in snaps for wide receivers.
Really?
So yeah, which was kind of surprising because you don't really, think of his name when you think of our top receivers. But I think that kind of just shows that, the coaches really trust him. He had, let me see, Gosnell had 338 passing snaps in the season, which led all of the Hokies. So, I mean, I think that just shows that the coaches really trust him with his blocking, and he's a really well-rounded player.
Good deal. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, if you can block, you keep your ass on the field. That's just
yeah, and
that's a good way to stay on the field, is if you can block well.
Yes, and I've asked Fontel before about his philosophy on blocking, and he said, like, if you do not block, you are not playing for me. So I think he's very big on that. He's a very, very astute coach.
Yes, he is that. Now, obviously, there's a few more guys still out there. Obviously, Delane and Strong have not made announcements yet. Tootin has not made an announcement yet. we haven't heard anything from like Keontae Jenkins and a few other guys who have eligibility. And it's the sit and waiting game. But we know, again, we've thrown a ton of offers out there. They're trying to upgrade the offensive line. They're trying. Let's hope that comes to fruition. But
some are dropping. We got about a third, maybe just over a third of the guys we've got offered have now found another home, committed elsewhere.
Well, a couple of them, though, look where they committed to.
Yeah.
A couple of them came in and visited, and effectively they left without committing. And, and it's no knock. It might just be that's where they want to be. But there was a couple guys who were kind of looked at as high-regarded guys are going to G5s. Mm-hmm. They're staying in the G5. So it's almost like they tried, but it just ain't there. So, I'm going to put something from Quest up here. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, right. Let me ask this. And I wanted that, Brian, I hit you up with it, all y'all. Can you legitimately throw 5 brand new offensive linemen together and expect it to mesh in basically the course of 6 months, in the course of 28 practices?
I'm going to tell you what I told you before. When you don't have an offensive line, getting 5 new ones is probably an upgrade. So for Colorado, bringing in 5 new guys is probably going to be a net positive to what they had last year. Just saying.
Good deal.
If they wanted an elite offensive line, they would have got 5 white boys from Wisconsin.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they should have done. I mean, I don't know exactly what the offensive line looked like, but if they ain't 5 white boys from Wisconsin or one of those states, they may be average. I'm just telling you.
They gotta drive a pickup truck, have no neck at all.
No neck.
Be pure
Blue elastic.
Oh man. All righty, let's flip it over before we wrap up this side of the episode, and let's talk about the coach openings, because a ton got filled, and I'm gonna focus on just a handful here that, to me, I think are going to be important, or maybe important to Virginia Tech. I'm gonna mention the ones I don't really. Sean Lewis, that literally happened the last time we were here. He literally got hired literally 20 minutes before we went off air. Jay Sawbell's taking over for Greg. Oh God, I can't. The guy who produced Josh Allen. That guy been there for at Wyoming for 20 years. Gone. The defensive coordinator takes over at Boise State. Scotty Walden to UTEP. I don't know who that is. Bryant Vincent, UL Monroe. I don't know who that is. Trent Bray was a DC out of Oregon State. He stays where Smith went to Michigan State. First name y'all want to hit about. Bronco Mendenhall's back in the coaching game. Greg Bowl. Thank you very much, Pete. Bronco to New Mexico. But this is where I want to talk about it. First guy I want to talk about is Middle Tennessee. And they hired Derek Mason. Everybody knows who Derek Mason is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Coach Vanderbilt, Coach Stanford. Why I look at that, and y'all can give me your opinions on this. Derek Mason is a very good defensive football coach. Mm-hmm. He has been. He was at Stanford. He's always been a good defensive football coach. I see a guy going there like that, and I'm going to tell you what. That's our territory. That's at 6-hour radius, right? Right? Sean Quinn's always out somewhere in Tennessee recruiting players.
Yep.
I see a guy like that go to Middle Tennessee, and it's one of those, it's a portal thought. He is going to create a good player who is a 2-star or walk-on, and in 2 or 3 years, we need to drive our asses out there, and we need to go say, hey, I know you love Coach Mason. I know you love Middle Tennessee, but you need to come here. Because it's like that perfect. And I think that's what we need to start looking to, is where are guys going who have pedigree that can coach certain positions well, and almost make that a target. Like if I was Coach Pry, I would invite Mason and his staff into Blacksburg for a week to talk football. Hey, y'all, come on over. Come on. 6-hour drive. Come on.
Saying Middle Tennessee needs to be our farm system?
Yes.
I think they got a linebacker. I think they got a middle linebacker that we're looking at right now.
Yeah. We plodding early. We got to start plodding early. Yes. But, that's the way I see it. You got to – guys you feel comfortable with, or guys who have a good track record, focus on those schools when you go in portal hunting. That's what I say. All right. Obviously, 2 of the big ones for the bowl game. Willie Fritz left Tulane. Everybody knows that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it a couple times the last couple
just
weeks.
a little bit, right?
Yeah, not only did he leave, the whole fucking coaching staff left.
The whole coaching
And
staff.
half the players.
Yep.
And I said it on Twitter. I'm gonna say it on here. I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear shit about them not having the players or the coaches. Because when we went up to Maryland and we got our asses kicked, y'all was on us. I'm talking about the VT fans was on us. Oh, we went up there and we did this. Oh, we did. Hell, we had a guy that played tight end playing quarterback. He threw the ball like Uncle Rico. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I ain't saying we're going to win or blow them out, but we better win and blow them out.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they hired John Summerall, who was actually just down the road in your neck of the woods, Tally, down at Troy.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a really good coach.
All right. Anything on those?
I was interested, like the Kirk Cignetti thing kind of surprised me. I thought he would hold out for a better gig than Indiana, but
62.
Yeah.
He's old.
He's old.
I guess the one that kind of, that I was looking at the most is maybe Manny Diaz to Duke. I'm interested to see how he recruits there, what he does there. Because Elko kind of had them rolling, man. So
of the hires that I thought that were rumored, Diaz is the one I'm glad they picked.
Yeah. Right.
If you catch what I'm putting down there.
We catch exactly what you're putting down there. But I think for him, it's just trying to be a head coach again and knowing the situation. Now, he's not walking into the best situation at Duke that they've been good the last 2 years. So if you're doo-doo the first couple years, people going to be like, what the hell? Elko came here and started winning right away, but he also knows Duke will give you 5 or 6 years. Duke will still give you more time than a lot of places. So
yeah, and I mean, he's probably going to not have as much of a problem keeping some of those defensive pieces in place. And we'll kind of come in and not have to tweak a whole lot scheme-wise. The big question is going to be, what does he do on offense? I mean, you lose Riley Leonard. You lost a couple other big pieces on that defense already. You lost a couple pieces on the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does in the portal and if he can kind of keep the train moving in the right direction that Elko started with Duke there. So,
Sheldon, any of these coaching moves shock you, surprise you? You like, you love, you hate?
Yeah, I think a few thoughts. I think Syracuse had a pretty solid hire. Fran Brown came from Georgia. He was the DC there. So look, if Kirby trusts a guy to call plays, I mean that's got to be a pretty good thing. I think Cignetti to Indiana was interesting just because of his age. I thought he'd stick it out there. I will say, I know some VT fans might not like this, but JMU has had a really solid program. I think they are a program that kind of transcends the coaching staff. You look at, the coaches that have left there, they have not been great. When they're at JMU, they are very good. So I think you could say he's much more a product of the JMU culture, so to speak. So be interesting to see how that turns out. And then elsewhere, I don't know, Diaz to Duke. I think that's a pretty solid hire. You mentioned the Tulane coaching staff, so I just looked it up as you were talking. They will have 7 full-time coaches. Tulane will, in the bowl game against Virginia Tech. So they're without 3, and those 3 are their defensive coordinator, their D-backs coach, and their wide receivers coach. So those guys are all out right now. Tulane does not have anyone that will coach linebackers. So it remains to be seen if they can fix that. And I think that's going to be pretty good news for Tech skill guys.
That does sound good for Tech skill guys. And Robbie asked a question, and actually, there is a connection with Mason and Marv. Mason, he GA'd. He was a quality guy, and he coached linebackers for 2 years under Mason at Vanderbilt. So obviously a connection there. The Bob Chesney one to JMU, guy was up at Holy Cross, up in FCS, took them to numerous playoff games. I think you make a good point. Does the culture transcend? Does the culture transcend? Any coach that comes there can and will be good. Now, what that eventually puts you in a pinch with, though, is if the culture's that good and it transcends everything, people start saying, I'm not hiring him. Because they're going to be a good football team. Doesn't matter who steps into that place, right?
Yeah,
So-
and I forgot to mention Chesney. He's also a very good hire. I dug into his background a little bit at Holy Cross. He totally turned around an awful program. So I think, and he's a great culture guy too. Speaking of culture, so I think he'll do very well.
All righty. Anything else on this stuff, boys? All right, cool. We're going to hit the break from our digital partners and Main Street Pharmacy.
Icy Hot Pro with 2 max strength pain relievers. Targets multiple pain receptors. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
I can probably save you a lot of money, and I can take a lot better care of you. That's pretty much it. My name is Jeremy Counts, and I'm a pharmacist. I own and operate Main Street Pharmacy here in downtown Blacksburg. My brother's a pharmacist, I'm a pharmacist, my uncle's a pharmacist, my dad's a pharmacist. I remember he would give me M&Ms to count in little pill counters. This is something I've always done, and I'm just lucky that what I know so well is something that I can do and feel good about it and give back to people. Pharmacies are your frontline defense. Pharmacy's job is to make sure you're getting optimal care for the lowest price possible. Also, we take the pressure off of emergency rooms. I'll tell people immediately when they need to go to the doctor, or I'll tell them if they just need a cream over the counter. If there's something that isn't commercially available, if it's something that's not available in a certain strength or a certain form or anything like that, we'll make it. Tailor-made medications. Some of those options save people a lot of money. What motivates me? I get to take care of people and live in Blacksburg. That's all I need.
As we take a quick break, we'd like to tell you about getting your free website report from our digital partner, Grassroots Digital Marketing Studio. They'll tell you how your website ranks on Google, on-site SEO, and social media. No commitment to buy anything. You can get your free report by visiting grassrootsdigitalstudio.com/free-website-report. Now back to the episode.
All righty, and we are back, and let's flip it down. Let's talk about the Hokies bowl game and know the enemy Tulane. We've already kind of mentioned it already. A lot of the enemy's leaving, so it was very tough. Brian was looking at tape, and Brian would be like, what about this guy? He's in the portal. Oh, shit. What about the quarterback? Quarterback might be in the portal. He's hurt anyway. So it was a tough one to do, but we are going to hit some pieces of it. But what was just your general reaction, boys? It was the Military Bowl. Could have been the Mayo Bowl. There was rumors it could have been the Sun Bowl. Or were you just happy to be back? It's that feeling watching it on Sunday, because last year it sucked.
It did.
Didn't get to watch.
It sucked. It felt good to be, talking about a bowl, to be back in the bowl. Honestly, some people, just Twitter people, was, we should be playing them. I said, man, I don't care who we play. I just want to win. We can play the Helen Keller school for all I care. I just want to beat them. You know what I'm saying?
I said, give me Guy, you dead. I'll go out there and beat.
Tell you one thing. Somebody said we need to play Kentucky. I said, no, the fuck we don't. I don't want to play. I do not want to play Kentucky. No, I'm just tired of seeing it. I don't want to see them this year. But if we would have played them, like I said, I was just excited to be back in the bowl games. So we have more content to talk about. We're gonna talk anyway, but we got more content to talk about, man. Because when you got those weeks and everybody else is preparing for bowl games and you're sitting at home, it sucks, man. Especially when you only win 3 games. So we doubled that win total this year. But for me, and I gotta say, my esteemed colleague Shelton, like, we expected it the whole time. So I know y'all was in there too. The whole BCP was in there.
We were all on the whole train.
Like, even when we started out,
y'all were very confident. I will say that y'all were very confident.
Even when we started out rough, though, Shelton he kept me grounded. Like,
he said, wait till ACC play. We'll be all right. We gotta settle in a little bit here.
He said, tally the analytics. That's what he said. The analytics say, he'll hit you with that right there, and it's like, all right, man, once we got rolling, and then we got to see last year we had 3 wins, but it was like a tough 3 wins too. It was like we didn't have a lot of, man, we got highlight tapes this year. We got, some cool stuff going on with social media. putting out videos and things like that. So it was 6-win season, and it was just fun to see. So you can feel the energy around the program, and you can feel that into the bowl game. So I was just excited to be back in bowl contention, honestly.
Yeah, it was nice to see the team kind of hit a little bit of a reset button, clean things up a little bit after a 3-game losing streak, and just go on a tear there in the ACC play against anyone that didn't end the season with a number next to their name.
Mm-hmm.
That was satisfying. And then, speaking of bowl games, it could have been Mayo, but the committee kind of fucked us there because as soon as FSU wasn't in, it was pretty much the Mayo was out of play for us. So
it just took forever. It just took forever to finally get the call of where we were going.
Yeah. So we kind of knew if it wasn't the Mayo, it was probably going to be some high level G5 team in the Military Bowl.
By the way,
that's what we got.
You know something that I kind of laugh at, and everybody likes to downtrodden the ACC. The ACC is playing every double-digit win G5 team. We're playing Tulane. BC's playing SMU, and who am I missing? Troy is playing Duke. Well, of course you're going to get a bad look. Like, well, you should beat them. We're like, they won 11 games this year. They're still a good football team.
Some good teams, man.
They are. And by the way, shout out to those going, Shelton being one of them, contributing, selling out. The allotment up there. Now, are you going to drive up 301 and back same day, or are you going up to Nova and hanging out with somebody, Sheldon, for the game?
I have a premium setup. I got a family member who lives in Annapolis, like 2 miles from the stadium. So
that's the way to do it.
Would they harbor 3, ruffians?
Degenerates?
Don't think so.
My kid's got a doctor's appointment. My wife would. I wouldn't be able to come home for a month if I did that. All righty. Well, let's jump into it, Brian. Let's talk about this offense. Talk about a couple players, and then talk about scheme. Let's just talk about the scheme in general. Obviously, the offensive coordinator is no longer there, right? He gone? No, he not gone.
I thought he was gone, but he might not be gone. Hang on. Efferding.
OC's gone, right, Sheldon? You had it up.
Shoot, I forgot. I thought it was a DC. No, yes, because the interim head coach is going to call the plays, so I think so.
Okay, there you go. All right, but what are we looking at system-wise, scheme-wise?
Yeah, so what we're looking at here, I mean, it's a pro spread system. They will go multiple front. Quarterback is mostly in shotgun. Will go under center. They run a lot of wildcat and pistol as well. Lots of quick passes predicated on the quick passing game. They like to move the ball in the pocket in the passing game, so they're going to roll the quarterback out a good deal. And they're really consistent and effective in the running game, which sets up their play action whenever they want to kind of take those shots.
All righty, good deal. Well, let's talk about – I do not have a lot of info on these guys because when they were dropping like flies, I was not going to do the research. I was not taking the time. But I want to talk about Mekhi Hughes because Mekhi Hughes, how is this kid not in the portal? He rushed for almost 1,300 yards this year, over 5 a carry, 7 touchdowns, and he's a freshman at Tulane. How is that kid not in the portal? Now watch, Brian, because he's not in the portal yet, you get to tell us what he does good.
Yeah, and based on who else is in the portal, and I know we'll talk about that a little bit, this is their offense. From my estimation of who's left that I can actually give you information about, this is their offense. But it's a damn good player to have to say that about. I mean, he's got good vision and improvisation as a running back, runs with really good balance, likes to take the cutback game lanes if the defense kind of over pursues in the running game, runs through kind of those pop and arm tackles, so you got to wrap him up. And surprisingly a good blocker for a true freshman. But, I mean, if he's a freshman and he's on the field, he's probably blocking because otherwise he wouldn't be there. Or he'd only be there in certain situations. So that's what we're looking at here. Like I said, he's got a little bit of breakaway, so he can't hit the home run. But he is kind of just a guy that you got to bring down because he will pop some of those little bursts on you from here or there and kind of grind it out.
All righty. All righty. We were going to talk about Alex Ballman, but legitimately, Brian even had the notes in here on Ballman, and then literally he went in the portal today. because
that's their tight end, by the way.
That's their tight end.
Yeah.
Sheldon, you hit real quick before Brian jumps on the offensive line. We know they're missing Chris Brazel. We know Pratt's probably not going to play, and a couple other their wideouts have been banged. But you looked up a few of their guys. Like, what are they missing? Like, seriously, analytics wise.
Yeah, well, obviously Brazel, you mentioned, he was a pretty solid grader in PFF, about 16 yards per catch. Pretty efficient in yards per route run, and when he was targeted, he was top 20 among group of 5 wide receivers when targeted efficiency rating wise. And then some of their other guys, defensive linemen. I don't know if these guys are officially out. Yeah, it looks like they are because they're receiving offers. So Devian Deal, if I'm mispronouncing that. Really good pass rusher, 83.4 pass rush grade, 28 total QB pressures. Keith Cooper Jr., another D lineman, he's got 5 sacks, 77 rush defense grade. Not a great tackler, but they've also got defensive back DJ Douglas, 3 INTs, 72 pass rush grade, and very good in coverage, around 78, which is 28th in the group of 5. So missing a couple big boys in the D line and a couple good skill guys as well.
Yep. And Brazil right now, Tally, you see where he's likely going?
Where?
Tennessee.
That's good. That's a big difference, man. He did something right.
And again, this is why the portal's good, right? That kid was. You go look at Chris Brazil and who he was coming out of high school, like a mid 3-star, mid to low 3-star. Nowhere had him ranked in the top 100 wide receivers in the country last year. He goes there and he blows up. Good for him. And this is what it's for.
Yeah.
Brian, they do not have, or if they do, they don't have many offensive linemen out. But what does their offensive line look like?
Better in the run game than they are in pass pro for sure. Looking at them, good job of passing defenders off in the combo and getting to the second level. The quick passing game disguises some of their pass pro deficiencies, but they really don't do a very good job in pass pro overall. The question is, will the skill players that they're missing and the lack of timing that we'll probably see with some of those newer skill players, is that going to create a problem? Is that going to throw off some of the timing of those quick hitters? And are we going to have some additional opportunities to get after the quarterback?
100%. Tally, you mentioned you watched Pratt, or you watched them play Ole Miss, right? You watched a lot of that game where Pratt was not there.
Yeah, a little bit. I watched a little bit of it. It seems like it was years ago.
It does. It was months ago. But I can remember you mentioned to me, like, without even their number one quarterback, they hung with them most of that game until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they gave Ole Miss all they can handle. You know what I'm saying? But they just had, I think they were a well-coached team, and they had some skill positions. So, I'm glad we ain't playing that team. I'm glad half of them gone. I want to win. I want to be right, and I want to win.
You want to say right, he wants to win. Yep. Sheldon, you got anything on Pratt? Because apparently there's also talk that he could declare for the draft.
No, unfortunately, I don't have anything on him.
Nothing on Pratt?
That's all I got.
I mean, he threw for 2,400 yards this year, 22 touchdowns, 5 picks, close to 300 yards rushing. So obviously, if he's not there and their backup went out, I think I read today the guy who will be starting has taken 7 snaps in his entire career. I don't like that, though, because every time that happens to us, they play like it. You know it. You say it all the time. Why can't I say it? All right, Brian, let's flip over to the defense next. Obviously, Sheldon's already mentioned they're missing some really key players there, man. But they do have a couple guys that, as of today, at this very moment, at time is it 10:43 Eastern Standard Time on December 13th, they're still there. What does the scheme look like, and who are a couple of the good players?
Yeah, I mean, they run a multiple front, kind of hybrid 4-3 base defense. Standing defensive end and linebacker hybrid. They use that. That's called the dog. They also have a hybrid safety linebacker that they call the anchor. They like to bring a lot of pressure on run and pass downs from every level, so they kind of mix things up from a defensive perspective with the pressure. They will bring people all the time from different levels that are not afraid to get after the quarterback and cause some confusion for the offensive line in the run game.
Alrighty, let's talk about Jesus Machado here. They're starting Mike linebacker. Guy had close to 100 tackles this year. What's he do good? What's he do bad? Can we take advantage of him if he doesn't have some of the players Shelton mentioned?
Yeah, he's their Mike backer. They used him a lot on the blitzes, though. He's playing in the backfield a good deal. Definitely their best tackler in the front seven. Cover a lot of ground fast. Really guy that can move around a good deal. And probably his biggest weakness is he's not good at shedding blockers. So if he doesn't have a couple guys up front protecting him and giving him some cover, could be a long day for him. But if he's running free, he can make some plays.
All righty. And another guy that is, again, still there, who actually had a pretty good season, another defensive lineman, Darius Hodge, actually will have another year of eligibility left, so he may be leaving, but may want to play one more game. Led the team in sacks with 7.5. A 6'4", 265-pound defensive lineman. Where is he lined up at, and how good is he?
He's the dog. So he's the DN. Occasionally puts his hand in the dirt, usually standing up though. They'll slide him back into a backer spot if they go with that 3-man front. Really good blend of speed and power, really good motor. Definitely I'd say he's better at rushing the passer than he is at like stuffing the run. And they will use him in coverage when he's in the backer spot or sometimes from the end in like a zone blitz type situation where he's dropping in the flats or spying, things like that. So he's pretty good at those responsibilities as well.
All right. And again, the plethora of players that are out, they are missing. I think Demario Douglas is like their best secondary guy. So many different players. This is where usually this is really fun for Brian, and it's usually fun for us because we're like every week we get to Sean's looking at the analytics, Tally's looking at tape, he's looking at stats, I'm looking at data, I'm looking where they're back. This kind of sucked because it was just like I was more looking like who's left, who's on the team still.
Well, we knew that Makai hadn't transferred, so we were like, all right, at least the best running back, is there, so we can focus on that. Defense, you at least had your number one tackler there, so
and their best sack guy right now they could be doing stuff. All right, well, we still got a game to play. It is going to be exactly 2 weeks from today. Tally, I'm going to let you start it off here. Mm-hmm. What is your key to this game?
You just got to focus on yourself. You got to do what you do good. You don't know quite what scheme they're going to come out with. You don't know what players they're going to come out with. But you know what you got. And you know what players you're taking. And you know what you can do good. And you know what you can't do good. You just got to go do that. You just got to go play. You got to stay true to who you are. You got to go run your offense and your defense, and you got to go win a game. So enjoy the bowl week. I know they probably do some gifts and they get to go do some different things that's tied along to that bowl, which is great for those kids. But we just got to go play Virginia Tech football and we'll be fine.
All right, Sean, what about you? What is the key to the game? You obviously looked over some data and things like that and know a little bit about some of their players. What's the key to you on this game?
Well, look, I'm not going to use the data because there's just so many missing guys, so many unknowns, so many different pieces. It just, I don't know if you can really, get a good feel for a game like this looking just at numbers because of how many, variables there are. But I think the biggest key for me is just show up and, act like you want to be there. I think with bowl games, it's easy to kind of, sort of look at it as like a vacation. But I mean, if they show up, I think it's a big game for VT. I mean, you go into this season with, winning record potentially, good momentum going to the off season, first bowl win potentially for VT in seven years. So
that's crazy to think about.
Military bowl, right? It was a military bowl last
2016 Belk Bowl. Come back against Arkansas. Yeah.
I thought we
we had one since then.
Yeah. Man. So just show up and play. Like it's not Tech's a better team. They've got better players. They just have to act like they won it. And if they do that, then they'll win pretty easily, I think.
Brian, what about you, man?
I'm going to kind of pivot from what Sheldon was saying there, and the way that you show up and you play like that is you don't beat yourself. I think if we limit the mistakes, limit the procedure penalties, limit any sort of turnovers, limit those head scratching plays on defense where you give up a really big run. If we don't beat ourselves, we should win this game pretty easily.
Yep. And I got to do something real quick. Just because that is funny as hell. I love you, Robbie. I love you.
Yes, by the way, I was aware that Annapolis is not a vacation spot. It just felt good to say.
I know. This is what I want to say, and I've said it a few times this year. They've got to let it hang. If you've got a trick play that you
let what hang, Curtis?
Let it hang. Let it all hang. Let it all hang.
Where are you letting it hang, Curtis?
Y'all know where. But why I say that is it's the bowl game. If you've got a trick play, run it. If you've got something you want to do a little crazy on defense, do it. You want to fake a punt, do it. Let it hang. Play loose. You know what? It's a bowl game. It's meaningless. I know some people say, well, the practices are not. Right. The practices are not meaningless because right now it could mean where people are going, or after that bowl game are people out in the portal. So, we'll see. All right. Well, now we got to make predictions, and y'all slackers didn't put anything in here, so I don't know what y'all's heads thinking. But our prediction, and then we're going to do 10 bowl games, big screeners, presented by Prize Picks, Prize Pick Daily Fantasy app, where you make your entries based on player projected outcomes. Prize Picks match any deposit up to $100 when you sign up using the code BCPicks. QR code.
I'm coming. Hang on.
Coming up in the corner there, very small because we got a lot of games we're picking tonight, having fun. Use that or go to boundarycornerbt.com/BCPicks to
the VT game is not on the board. Just want to give you the heads up.
So. No worries. All righty. Well, I want to start with Shelton. Shelton, what is your prediction for this Hokie game?
Yeah, I'm taking VT. I don't really have a spread or anything like that. I think they're going to win by at least one score, probably two.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just no contest. I mean, they've got the better team. Their guys are locked in. I think they're going to come out and have a good game.
All right. Tally, what about you?
I'm going to say Virginia Tech 48-14.
Woo! Big blowout. All righty. Siegler?
Give me the Hokies 38-14.
38-14. I'm not far behind y'all at all. And again, going through knowing how much they lost, losing a head coach. And I think but some of y'all said, I think we are locked in. I think this team is locked in. You're seeing it from the announcements of guys coming back and things like that. They are locked in. Give me 41-17. It's not even going to be that close. I think they get a couple garbage times when the walk-ons, like, number 20, the white number 27 defensive back that Tally loves so much is on the field late in the game.
Childers.
There we go. All righty. Well, now we get to pick some bowl games. Are we picking them all? No, because we do not feel like being here until 12:30. Just don't. It's 41 of them, 43 of them this year. But what we did was we went through and we looked at our bowls and said, you know what? That's going to be a fun game to watch. Because starting next week, let's be real, y'all. Sheldon, we know you're off for a few weeks here. Mm-hmm. I'm taking off like 12 days at the end of the year. Brian, I know you're working sparingly. Tally, you ain't working.
After tomorrow, I'm working from home the rest of the year. So I'm not going to see the office again until the new year after tomorrow. So
he ain't getting nothing done the rest of the year. He's going to be watching the bowl games all. It's like, there's an email there, good. So we picked some fun ones out, and that's what we're going to be picking tonight. No spread, though. Why? Spread's too tough. Just who we think's the better team and where they are. And we are starting. I don't know the order you put it in, Brian, so you're going to have
the same order that you had it in the text. So we'll lead off here with one of the ones I picked here.
All right.
This is we got the Soak Dickens versus the Car Wash Dickens.
The Las Vegas Bowl.
The Las Vegas Bowl. And I'll lead here. I've got Utah in this one.
All right. Utah Northwestern. Am I picking this one next?
Yeah, we're snaking it through here.
We're snaking this one through. All right. Who the hell did I say? I think did I say Utah on this one?
You did.
I did. Utah. Northwestern's dream season of somehow making a bowl after everything that went on in the offseason is done. Tally, who you got?
I'm going Utah.
All right. Utah and Shelton.
Yeah. Give me Utah. Northwestern's had a great year, but they're punching well above their weight class. I think Utah's going to shut them down.
Yep.
So everybody says soaking is better than car wash.
Soaking is better than car wash. All righty. Next game. Whose choice was this? Holiday Bowl. Was that mine? That was mine, wasn't it?
That was yours.
Holiday Bowl's next. USC Louisville. Shelton, who you got in this one?
I'm taking Louisville just because I feel like they'd be more motivated. I feel like USC probably had playoff expectations, so they're probably less likely to really care about this game.
All right, good deal. Tally.
I'm taking Louisville as well.
All righty. Brian, let you pop that up for Tally. And this is the one I picked. I think regardless of this game, I know Caleb Williams is not playing. I think this is going to be an entertaining-ass offensive game because you got two high-level guys in Brom and Riley. First of all, take the over, if anything. Louisville wins by 10, though.
Yeah, I'm riding with Louisville, too. I think, to Shelton's point, I think the Louisville has just got more to play for here. I think this is kind of a consolation for USC here. They had aspirations for more. They've got a couple key guys that are not going to be playing in the game. I just think Louisville's going to have more to play for here.
All righty. All right, next one was my actually second choice, and this is going to be on the 28th and 11 o'clock kick. Place I have been before, the Fenway Bowl, BC versus SMU. Future ACC matchup here. The BC Eagles versus SMU. Brian, who you taking in this one?
Give me SMU here. I just think that top to bottom, they're probably one of the best, if not the best, G5 programs, about to be a Power 5 ACC program. So, give me SMU to pull this one out.
All righty. How can BC even get up for this game? It's literally like 8 minutes from their campus. Like, how do you get up for that? Like, Sheldon, you made the point. It's a bowl game. Send us away. We're supposed to have fun for a few days. Give me SMU and SMU big.
I gotta go SMU.
Man.
I just think SMU is the better team here, so I'm gonna go with them.
All righty.
Yep. Boston College is probably the worst bowl team to make a bowl in the FBS this season, so I don't think it's that close personally. I'll take SMU all day.
All righty. Man, we are all talking the same language up and down this. All right. Which one of y'all picked this Pinstripe Bowl?
I
think Tally had Rutgers, Miami, yeah.
Tally. You got this one. This one's actually right after the Fenway Bowl on the 28th of December. And Sheldon, will let you lead this one. Rutgers or Miami?
Yeah, I just took Miami off a hunch. I think Rutgers has a good defense, but don't really trust their offense, so I'll take ACC for this one.
Tally, you picked it.
Yep, I take Miami on this. Kind of like Shelton said, Rutgers has a pretty good defense. I think Miami has the athletes enough just to play in this game and win.
All righty. I'm going against y'all on this, and I'm going against the ACC on this. This game is going to be, and yes, it is close to Rutgers, so I'm going against my terminology on the BC shit here. But it is going to be in New York. It is going to probably be yucky. It is probably going to be snowing. The Miami boys don't want nothing of a good defense in a hard-hitting game. They're going to be happy to see the city, go up to the Empire State Building, and do all the touristy stuff. But then they're going to have to go play football. Huh?
Top of the rock.
Top of the rock. First different one on the board. Give me Rutgers.
And Curtis, I'm following right there with you. And it's got really nothing to do with those intangible things. It's got to do with the fact that when you look at a defense that plays as well as they do, and having a lot of things are kind of trending well for Rutgers right now. They just signed an extension for Schiano. Yeah. You got Benign guy back. So he's playing in this bowl game. I feel like there's just so many positives for that program. I think Miami is kind of trying to figure out who they are still, and I think it's going to be Rutgers in a very close one.
All right, Rutgers very close. Are we going over, or is this going to be ugly?
I think it could be ugly.
Okay. All right. Next one we got here going to be probably a pretty fun. Actually, we went back to back to back. We got the same day, the 28th. We ain't doing anything but sipping on and eating a little food. NC State, Kansas State at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. This was one of Shelton's picks here. Shelton will get to you and why you like this matchup so much. Brian, who you got?
Doesn't this have like an edible mascot or some shit?
They say it does. They said it has an edible. Yes, and the people are questioning, is it like they make a giant Pop-Tart?
I mean,
I don't know. There's a lot of questions going on about this. I heard that on some podcast the other day about, is it a giant edible Pop-Tart?
You know what? I'm going NC State here. I feel like they closed the season on a very high note, and I think they keep that train rolling into the bowl season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And also kind of it's some flux going on at Kansas State with Colin Klein leaving and taking the A&M job, A&M OC job with Elko, and some other things going on at Kansas State as well. I saw some headlines like some of the bullshit going on in Kansas State. So, yeah, NC State, even though they have some bullshit going on too, yeah, give me NC State.
I'm going to NC State, man. I'm saying SEC. I mean ACC, man. We ride together, we die together, right?
All righty. Sheldon, you picked this one. What intrigued you so much about it?
Two really solid programs that have done a good job at developing players as of late. NC State has one 10-win season in the history of their program. I think that's all the motivation you need. They got screwed out of it a couple years ago in that COVID canceled game against UCLA. So I think they're going to come out with a little bit of motivation to get that 10-win season.
All righty. Again, we are all on the same page here. Next, we are going to Jacksonville and the Gator Bowl. Clemson and Kentucky. Tally, you picked this one. Sheldon, who you got for Tally gets in, why he wanted to watch this game so bad on Friday the 29th at high noon.
Clemson's been playing really good football as of late. I think they've started to really come around. So I think I'm going to take Clemson. I think Dabo's going to go into this offseason with a little bit of momentum and kind of shut down those critics early in the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Clemson on this too. I just like kind of like Sheldon said, man. I think Clemson. People kind of wrote them off for dead. I think Clemson still has a good program, so I think they have enough to win this game.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on this one too. Give me Clemson, even though I'm sure they have quite a few opt-outs and everything. Just I want to see how Kentucky handles, because Stoops wasn't supposed to be there right now. Stoops wasn't supposed to be there. He was supposed to be down at Texas A&M getting his $20 million a year contract. So give me Clemson.
Yep, I'm riding with the Tigers as well. I think it's going to be a tight one, but I think, as Sheldon said, I feel like the Clemson team kind of gelled at the right time of the season. They're playing some pretty good football now. I think they still have some problems from a roster management perspective that they still need to address, but I think they've kind of weathered some of the storm of losing, their two coordinators, and kind of having a down year in terms of the talent cycle. So give me Clemson here.
All righty, Clemson there. All right, let's pop the next one up. Let's go down to El Paso in the Sun Bowl. I know this is one of Sheldon's picks, so we'll get to you and why you like it so much, Sheldon, but let's roll through it. Brian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Notre Dame here. I feel like, the last two remaining Pac-12 teams are kind of getting picked apart and left for scraps now. I just think Notre Dame's going to have more in the tank there.
Yeah, with the departure of Jonathan Smith and all the turmoil and DJU in the portal, even though Hartman's not going to play, Notre Dame, obviously, to a point, more talented, carries the day. Tally?
Notre Dame. I got to go with Notre Dame on this. Just two different trajectories for two different programs right now. Got to go with Notre Dame.
Absolutely. And Sheldon, this was one of your picks.
That was a good top 25 matchup of teams that you don't really see play each other a lot. I think Freeman's done a really good job at Notre Dame, and I like the Fighting Irish in this one. I think even though that both teams don't have their starting quarterback, I just like Notre Dame's roster better. So give me Notre Dame.
All righty. Now we go start with some of the bigger ones here. We got the Cotton Bowl, Mizzou, Ohio State. Brian, I know this one was yours, so we'll let you wrap it up at the end. But Sheldon, who you got here?
Yeah, this one's tough because it's sort of like the motivation thing. Like, is Ohio State motivated to play this game because they didn't make the playoff? I think they are, personally. I think Ryan Day is a great head coach. So they're obviously this is a game where the recruiting rankings, I think, will win out.
Tally?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ohio State on this one. Just because I trust the coach a little bit more than Mizzou's coach. I know that their quarterback's already gone from Ohio State. Kind of like Shelton said, though, I think the recruiting rankings just kind of win this game for them.
I would say that as well, but I'm not. Because I saw Mizzou hang with the recruiting rankings in Georgia where it probably shouldn't have been that close. And I think losing Kyle McCord because effectively I don't think Harrison's playing. You don't have McCord. Yes, they have more talent, but that talent ain't played together all year. And I don't think 14 bowl practice is enough. I do think this will probably be an entertaining game. But give me Mizzou.
All right. Curtis, you are riding solo on this one, man. I think Mizzou punched way above their weight class all year. I think this is going to be a fall back to earth for them. Even with McCord not playing in this game, I just think the talent's going to will out here.
All righty. So look at that. There's only 3 differences on the whole board. And we started it at the top of the show, and we're going to end it here tonight. We start with the CFP. We start New Year's Day, 5 o'clock kick at the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Michigan. First of all, the best, and they'll show the shot. The reason I want Tech to make that game one time is to get there in the stands and see the shot. The sun's cresting over the hills in the Rose Bowl. They always get that shot. It's twilight. It's perfect. And I don't know. We've talked about it we've talked about it in the past about making New Year's Day relevant again. When the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl are the playoff games, it makes New Year's Day feel right. Not a knock to the other ones when it's on that Saturday or New Year's Eve, but when it's on New Year's Day and it's these 2 games, it's nostalgia and it takes me back to when I was a kid. But now we got to pick them, and I do think there's going to be some disagreements here. Mr. Siegler, you shall lead, sir.
I'm going Michigan here. Some of this is probably the fuck Bama for making this thing mindset. That's probably playing a little bit. So, ESPN can't admit their SEC bias, but I will admit my current bias against Alabama here. I'll take Michigan. I think the defense is going to be the difference. I think the running back is going to be the difference. I think that Alabama's just not going to have enough juice at the end.
And I'm kind of with you on that. I'm in the fuck Bama mode as well right now, but I'm also in that thing of Bama's offense has hit struggles at times this year, right? We've watched them all. There's that USF game, and I know that they were trying to back up and that's USF. That's not a good team. That's not a good team. They struggle with other teams as well throughout the year defensively. I think it's a low-scoring game, and when I say that, 27-20 Michigan. We know who you're picking because you can't get in trouble down there.
Well, everybody's in the fuck Bama mode, but Bama's also in the fuck y'all mode. Nick Saban's already told everybody that, and they're going to go win. They're already talking about they talked about earlier in the season how Jalen Milroe wasn't ready. He wasn't the guy. Now they're talking about him being a Heisman front runner next year. And they're going to start this in the playoffs. They're going to go beat Michigan. I don't know if they win it all. I said they win it all, joking around. But I do think Alabama's going to beat Michigan.
All righty. Sheldon, where are you at?
I said a few weeks ago that Michigan is the best in the country. Some people on this podcast disagreed, but I stand by that comment. I think they're going to run all over Bama. So give me Michigan by a tutty.
By a tutty. All righty. So Tally riding solo because he don't want to get in trouble down there.
I don't want him to
He's
blow
like,
my
they
house
will
up,
show
man.
up at my house. I do not want that.
I picked Bama. That's why. All right, let's go to the nighttime. New Orleans, Bourbon Street. Oh man, Texas, Washington. I think this will be the more entertaining of the games. You want old school football? Go to Rose Bowl. This is going to be more of the entertaining of the games.
Yeah.
Sugar Bowl, undefeated Washington, Texas with one loss. Sheldon, who you got?
So I'm going Washington on a hunch, even though I think Texas has a better roster and more star power. I don't know. I really like Washington's coach, Kalen DeBoer, and I think they're going to pull out a close win by the hair of their chin. But they will get crushed in the national title game regardless.
What about you, Tally?
I kind of agree with Shelton on that. I'm going Washington. Every time I've picked against them this year, they've done something crazy to win a game. But one of my best friends is a Texas fan, and he's going to the game. So I asked him about it a little bit, and he said their quarterback's struggling because that shoulder injury has prevented him from pushing the ball down the field a lot. And I think they've got somebody else hurt. Brooks, I think, is hurt as well or injured. So they got a couple of people that's banged up. Hopefully they can get back and be ready for the game. But I just took Washington because of the talk that me and him had.
All righty. And I'm actually with y'all on that. I'm taking Washington as well. I probably watched more Washington games than maybe any other this year because I watched the Pac-12. I watched the original Oregon game. I watched some of the Apple Cup. I've watched a lot of their games. And the one thing they ain't afraid to do is they push that ball down. And a lot of people are saying, well, Texas's line's going to stop the run game. They ain't going to try to run the ball. They're going to say, we're going to air it out like we've been doing all year. And Penix can put it on a dime. I think they win. I think it's a high-scoring affair. I don't think they get crushed in the national championship game, but I think they compete, but eventually talent wins. Ryan, clean sweep.
I'm the only one riding with Texas, man. Hook 'em. I think that Texas is the more well-rounded team. I feel like Washington is a little too one-dimensional, and I think against this caliber of opponent, it's going to be tough to overcome that.
I will say, out of the 4 teams that's in the playoffs, I would love to see Texas win it over anybody else.
I'm against you on that. I'd like to see Washington win it. I would.
I'm okay with that.
Washington would give you hope. Because if Washington wins it, there's hope for every team in the top 50 that you can win a national championship.
Curtis, I'm ABB, but I'm not making Transformers. Anybody but Bama.
Anybody but Bama. They can already win them. All right. Anything breaking in the last by the way, just so y'all, the Washington pick, y'all know Kalen DeBoer's total overall record? He's been a head coach for 16, 17, 8, 19 seasons now.
Yes, I do know it, actually.
Y'all know it?
I know it now.
103-11.
That's crazy.
That man wins at every level. All right. Anything breaking? Brian, Tally, Sheldon, anything popped up on Twitter while we have sat here for an hour and 37 minutes? We did good tonight, boys.
Not that I've seen, man. Not that I've seen.
I haven't seen nothing.
All right. So, unfortunately, 10 days from now, Sheldon won't be able to join us. But 10 days from now, it's always the fun one. It's always the fun one. The State of the Program episode is coming. Our wonderful sponsor, Dr. Jeremy Counts, will be joining us. Liquor will be flowing. Beer will be flowing. We will be having a good time.
We might be opening up to some outsourcing. So keep your DMs open.
There you go.
You know who you are. And even if you don't, if you're a listener, see what pops in your inbox.
There you
might
go.
Be something fun.
Keep your DMs open. We may be bringing people on. We can't bring everybody on at once. Our software only has so much capacity, but the State of the Program will be December 22nd. We are doing it on a Friday because I ain't trying to do anything on the weekend after I've had more than a few cocktails.
I will preface this, everyone. Last year, if you watched, you saw me consume an entire bottle of Evan Williams White Label in 3 hours. I will not be doing that again. I will be very intoxicated, but I will not get. We won't let the the gauge go past the midpoint. If you get what I'm.
The gauge is going to pass. It is. We're gonna make sure you're feeling good.
Oh,
we may play a shots game.
I don't know about that. Yep, Mr. Drones. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Robbie, you always invite. We'll get you the link. You might be our first.
DMs open, Mr. Drones. We might have to get you on here.
Might have to. But anyways, y'all, I want to just say this has been a fun season with everybody here. We got a couple more episodes probably before we wrap up, but it has been just a fun season, and we're back winning. We're back on the right track. It feels good. And boys, that does wrap up this episode of the Boundary Corner Podcast, brought to you by Main Street Pharmacy in Blacksburg. I'm Curtis Wilson.
I'm Brian Siegler.
Jonathan Talley.
Sheldon Moss.
Visit our website, boundarycornervt.com, to listen to all of our episodes. Check the merchandise shop out. Check the BC Picks to get your $100 matched. While you're there, follow us Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on our YouTube. Going well over 300 now. Appreciate all y'all for subscribing to that. As always, our buddy Jason Long, he plays us in. He plays us out. Check him out on jasonlongmusic.com, where it links you to all of his music on Apple and Spotify, his YouTube page and Facebook pages. As always, we thank you for listening, and let's go.
Okies.